All right, welcome back to my channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. We are here again for a new video reaction. Please do me a favor and make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel in case if you're new. Your support is highly needed. As you can see, we are here to react on a post made by Honorable Christopher Okenwa. Honorable Christopher Okenwa is somebody that many of you know. He is very, very vocal in terms of as long as the government is concerned, very gentle, very calm, and very, very intelligent. So he made this post and he talked about something that many of you know, and we are here to remind you those statements from powerful people like Mas Namadikan and PM Samonepa. Most of these things that he said is something that like everybody already know, but I don't think you remember those things, and we are going to go through it. At the end of the video, at the end of the write-up, somebody may drop, a comment that I would like us to share as well, because many of us who claim to be Igbo, or you are from Eastern part, old Eastern region, some of us always want to comment, but we don't understand what you are commenting about. Like, you are not well informed, but you want to lecture other people about that thing that you are talking about. Some people make comment that you you listen to them, you'll be like, are they actually understanding what the situation at hand? Do they know what they're talking about? I will let you know when we get it, because the write-up, the comment from the guy is somehow, in line with what I just said now. So please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel in case if you're new. Your comment is highly needed. So Christopher Okenwa, Honorable Christopher Okenwa wrote and said, I swear, that is not his statement, he just quoted Mas Namadikan. I swear by my life and my honor, with the coming of Biafra, every northern Christian will be welcomed and allowed to settle in Biafra. Mas Namadikan, his Royal Highness, Mas Namadikan, that's the H-E, Mas Namadikan. So that's his quote from Mas Namadikan. He made it clear here. What Mas Namadikan said, that northern Christians will be allowed to settle in Biafra land. That is quote he made for people like Bishop Coker and the rest of them to understand that this is what Biafrans can offer, and Biafran coming is not a kind of there won't be that blockage to block you. No. But he made it clear, northern Christian, not Muslim. So Makande name Igbo Christians. So I'm coming, Igbo Muslim, sorry. I'm coming because we talked about it last night. Here again, he said the United States of Biafra, underline this word. Makande PM said after declaring Biafra, we're going to fall back to Brigi. So one of the quotes that PM made then made it clear that the United States of Biafra will not be a lawless place, regardless of your origin or religion. You will be protected provided you respect our laws. The same thing Mas Namadikan said in a different style. His Excellency Mazi Simon Ekpa, His Excellency Mas Namadikan, these two people made quotes, made a statement, few but similar, the same meaning. So go and tell them, fall back Republic. This quote that PM made here, if he actually wants you to fall back after declaring Biafra, he would have said the United States of Brigi. You get the point now. Let's go. These solemn commitments from Biafran leaders demonstrate that Biafra is not a project of exclusion, but one of protection, justice, and human dignity. In contrast, northern Nigeria has become a graveyard for thousands of innocent Christians who face systematic persecution, mass killing, abduction, and displacement at the hands of jihadist groups such as Boko Haram, ISWAP, and armed Fulani militias. A report from human rights organizations consistently highlights that what is unfolding amounts to a Christian genocide. Yet, Nigerian state has failed to provide safety, and in many cases, has been complicit in the violence. Biafran offers a lifeline the vision is not only for the survivor of Biafrans, but also for every persecuted community across Nigeria who longs for freedom, safety, and dignity. The promises made by His Excellency Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and His Excellency Simon Ekpa made it clear Biafra will be a sanctuary for the oppressed, a nation governed by law and respect for human rights rather than impunity and terror. For this reason, the international community, especially Christian organizations, human rights defenders, and governments that uphold the values of freedom of religion and beliefs should recognize and support Biafran struggle. As a matter of urgency, supporting Biafra means standing against religious persecution, ethnic cleansing, and terrorism, and standing for the universal right of every person to live and worship freely without fear of extermination. This statement is from Honorable Christopher Okenwa, and when you listen to everything he said here, spot on, like very, very superb. Why? Because Biafran as a nation, United States of Biafra, because when you talk about Biafra, now you are talking about Biafran redeclared. You get the point? Not as a group, as an agitation, as a get-together meeting like the one Wazirike is reportedly doing now, which is laughable to me because a man that has been restricted from agitating to talk about Biafra don't have right to counter what Biafran in mass have actually stand for. Because when 50 million, more than 50 million gather or contributed voting for self-referendum, supporting Biafran declaration, United States of Biafra declaration, and that Biafra was declared on 29th of November 2024. So it's no longer, oh, you are pushing one narrative. It took place in Finland and it was recorded, signed and sealed. So if you have issue with it, that's your personal opinion. Like, you have rights. I'm not saying that you don't have right to counter anything you want to counter, but be logical in your decision, in your statement, so that you are not going to be seen, you are not going to be seen as an evil person, because with that, whether you like it or not, that's what it is. All right. And we understand that some people want to be attached, some people want to have this, oh, let it be my brother that declared it, let it be my husband, that like the one of which she is doing now. Nobody will write him off of anything whatsoever. Without him, there won't be even Biafra declared. Now, you get the point. So that is why we must understand it. It's not a push to sideline anybody. Neither is it a push to pretend that something that is not in existence is existing. When people have issue with Mazi Nnamdi, saying that he want to take the glory, he want to be noticed, he want to be the talking point, he want to take stage, he want to be, he wants his name to be that shine that of Mazi Nnamdi. You are not only a liar, you a deceiver, a bloody liar for that matter, because without Mazi Nnamdi, there won't be someone talking about Biafra freedom. Who would have convinced a man who is in charge of Igbo Union, banning people from bringing Biafran flag to any function Igbo people are doing in Finland? That was Mazi Nnamdi, Biafran Prime Minister today. He was not in line with anything Biafran movement until he listened to Mazi Nnamdi, and the knowledge meet knowledge, or wisdom meet knowledge, and kicked on and see where we are today. Why? Because Mazi Nnamdi is highly intelligent, well-grounded, knows what he wants, and stand on it. Very, very disciplined and determined. He didn't mind to do something that he stand by. The same thing we applicable to PM Samanepa, who have his door of wisdom open for something very, very spiritual to come in. And when that thing penetrated him, look at what he did. He championed it and he led by example. And everything that Mazi Nnamdi was looking for is embedded on him. Ordinarily, he would have accepted cash. Do you know how many offers that have come to him? the same offer that they have made to Mazen American. Similar offer. It may be less or higher, but be it as it may, that is what happened. Then what happened? He did not allow that to, to overshadow this wisdom that he has. He managed to comport himself and look at the whole thing today. That is why when I see some people who don't even walk closer to PM or Masamukan yapping and trying to be relevant, dragging themselves, claiming to be this and that, I somehow question the knowledge of those clapping for them, because if you know that you must attend to certain level before claiming all those things, you would have understand that most of the things they're doing now is not actually in line with what it's supposed to be. But they have to do it anyway. They have to claim what they want to claim anyway. Anyway, somebody made this this comment on this post. The person called Divine. Divine made a post, and I see arrogancy. I can see stupidity, uninformed, and lack of knowledge in all this write-up we are seeing here. So we're going to go through it. That's the write-up I promised to share with you before we end this video. And let me use the opportunity to encourage you to like the video in case if you have not. Subscribe here and tell me what you think about all we are talking about. I decided to record this video this way because I am a kind of rushing to get it out before our next movement, our next video. It says, "Oh God, go sleep." Personally, like if I'm streaming live and someone made this kind of "Oga," you see, when you say "my friend," my Oga, I see, not only disrespect but insult. I see somebody who is not well cultured, or where your manner is not mannering. If there's anything like that, you know what I mean. He said, "Oga, go sleep. You people are rarely oh my goodness, insufferable. Me and you know that there is a lot of fees between yourselves than all this ranting on social media. Two men started something, one for his gain, the other for freedom. I agree, but I don't know who is for his gain and who is for freedom." So meaning that he's already trying to separate PM from Master from PM, or I don't know who. I don't know. I cannot predict or guess who this guy is. He's thinking that he's in for his own gain, and the other one is for freedom. I don't understand this. That's why I said that he's not well informed, but he wants to judge with speed. But the group sponsored by Yoruba. Okay, no. He said, let me take it again. He said, okay, let me start from here. Two men started something, one for his gain, the other for freedom. I agree. But the group sponsored by these men later were hijacked. Okay, the group sponsored by these men later were hijacked by the same people they are fighting for. Okay. So who is the one that hijacked? I hope we mention it here. But listen, IPOB went on buying spread along with many other self-proclaimed groups. Nobody knows who the real IPOB is anymore, and don't say it was sponsored by Yoruba or Hausa, because most of these men are Igbos. Okay. Yes, he said, I have seen Fulani attacks on farmlands, but that does not, I don't know what I mean by that. That does not, I have not seen. Okay, that does not mean that I have not. I think he made a mistake again. That does not mean that I have not seen countless videos of people dressed. This part makes me, this is where I conclude that he's uninformed. People dressed in IPOB uniform or claim to be IPOB members going on a buying spread. You understand what he's saying? That even though that I've seen Fulani people attacking farm people in their farmland, that does not mean that I have not also seen a lot of videos of people that dress in IPOB uniform, meaning ESN, or claim to be IPOB members going out committing crime here and there. I have seen those things, and that simply means IPOB is bad people, according to him. But if this guy have paid that, let's say if you had paid attention to understand that the system, okay, that claim to be Nigeria today, there's one thing they are known for, which is they can camouflage, dress like somebody, and go on, commit something and label it on people. It is common in Nigeria. Very, very common. It started, according to history, the one I am aware of. We often hear about, Asaba massacre. You hear that Biafran soldiers were busy forcing themselves on the women in communities, around South, which is the genesis of the hate, or one of the genesis of the hate that some people from the South have on Igbo people. Oh, we cannot forget what they did to us during the Biafran War. Some of the things is that allegedly they believe that Biafran soldiers, attacked them. They went to their village and buy them or sleep with their children, their daughters, their wife, and all that. But the truth is that this crime was not carried out by Biafran soldiers. It was the other way around. They decided to put on uniform, trying to look like Biafran soldiers to commit those crimes, just to bring division between the old Eastern region. That is what happened even as a massacre. They did similar thing, but as God may have it, they did not camouflage. They put on their military uniform and massacred people in Asaba. Imagine if they have done what they did in other places to massacre people in Asaba. Or today, they will be telling you that you cannot forget that they massacred them. Do you understand it? So what I'm trying to say in essence is that sometimes it's not what you think. You cannot just judge by uniform. If for some of you that are maybe you are protecting the system, will be you are saying that the Nigerians are doing it now. Listen. So how will you feel as a Nigerian soldier that you've seen bandits wearing dress? They put on the same uniform that they're wearing, Nigerian uniform, and they went to they enter church and massacre people in the church, kidnap people and buy people. And people come out and say, oh, Nigerian soldiers went to church to buy people in the church. How will you feel? You feel bad, isn't it? Because it's not you. These are people trying to look like you to commit a crime. And they want to label this crime on you because they already, before carrying out that crime, they already know that what they're doing or what they're about to do is a crime. But they'll have to hide. That's the reason why armed robbers cover their face. Because they want the outcome, this crime, they want to shift it to another person. They don't want it to remain, on their identity. So when somebody begin to put camouflage just to look like you or dress like you to commit a crime, the person already know that what is about to be a crime. That's why he decided to disguise. Now, the issue of, I'm not here to distill it. I'm not saying that we don't have crime. Like Igbo people are not committing this kind of thing. We have people that are, criminals are always there. No society is 100%. But let's not just blame it on the leaders. He said, let's continue. He said, we have airports, we have land, we have seaports, we have oils, and we have billionaires who could develop these things for the betterment of Igbo land and for themselves, betterment of the Igbo land and for themselves. Like I said, you are not uninformed. All these things you mentioned here, you cannot do anything without the permission from the federal government. Are you aware of it? You cannot just wake up and begin to construct federal roads. They will stop you because it's federal road or state road. You can't do it as a billionaire. No. You have to go and take permission from local government and from God state. In some cases, from federal. Former governor of River State, not River State, I think Akwa Ibom. Is it Akwa Ibom or I forgot this? One of the states, I think from is that Akwa Ibom? Okay, Akwa Ibom State. Former governor, one of the governors there, said, and I quote, he wanted to build power plant for his own state to have constant power supply. Guess what happened? Federal government stopped him because they want you to still tag yourself to power, power holding, which is NEPA, popularly known as NEPA. Yeah, they will still want you to attach to that because they know that you building those things will somehow affect the agenda, which is to make sure that they keep in darkness. You have to be in darkness to favor one group or one person that is important generator, and it will also help them to keep on having this, this budget of building constant, giving you constant power supply. After struggling to become president, so if you want to write budget, they will be cracking their brain on what to write budget on. That's the reason why they don't give you those infrastructure, because they keep on writing budget after budget after budget, because once they write the budget and fix it, there won't be any other thing to write for. Like, they want to keep on repeating the same thing. That's why you have bad road. Even if they want to build it, they have to use inferior items to build it so that the road will spoil within 3 years. So they cannot have a new budget for the road. And having the budget road that's supposed to be built with, let's say 1 billion, they will put it 100 billion. You get the point? So it's a business. We have governor. He said we have governor. Look at Alex Oti. If every governor of Igbo land leaves greediness and focus on building their states, if every Igbo senator focus on being a voice for Igbos in the federal level, do you know where we will be by now? Most Igbo people are in foreign lands because of lack of development. Alex Oti is doing what we thought was impossible. If you talk, they will tell you federal government. I think that's what they want to say. They will tell you federal government will not allow them to work. But Alex is doing it, reopening factories that was closed. Who are the people fighting Alex now? The same Igbo brothers who are in APC, threatening their fellow Igbo man for what? It is called greediness and selfishness. All these things you said here shows your level of understanding. Politicians you're talking about are also working for the federal government. And the federal government have a very, very, very chaotic thing going on there. I'm not saying that senators have right to swallow money and this, no. But they will look at their own northern counterparts. What are they doing with the money that they allocated to them? Yes, the Igbos should not only copy them. And I agree with you. Greatness, yes, I agree on that one. But there's something that they would do. Okay? There was something they would do, and their colleague that are corrupt within, we also question them as well. So they are fighting Alex Oti because people will now looking at Alex Oti, people of other states will look at their governor and say, look at your colleague. Look at what he's doing in Abese, right? Which is good. So of course, naturally they will fight him. But if the man is strong enough, he will keep on doing what he's doing without minding them. Do you understand? So I agree with you on that aspect. But don't forget that we are not telling you that the problem of our own problem is development, infrastructure only. No. But whether you build infrastructure or not, by the time Fulani invade your state, it will not go to them. Those credits you are talking about, and you become a slave in your own land. Look at Kwara State. Look at Benue now. So look at Benue, look at the governor, who once said that there's a genocide going on in his state. By the time Fulani pushed him, he said there's no genocide. And he came out to defend, countering what he himself said previously. This is something that you need to think and reason, just think deep about it, and you will understand what I'm talking about. Then you keep on talking about, you have talked about Mas you talked about Samanekpa and how other people hijack that and what is going on, and you are not contented with it. Then you blame governors and politicians and all that. You have touched on those areas, which somehow I agree in some extent. I agree at some extent, as I disagree on some of those things that you said. But what about you yourself? I mean, you should also tell us what you are doing, because for you to criticize everything simply means that You are somehow dormant. You are not saying anything. You are not doing anything. You are waiting for others to do. Your own is to observe and criticize and approve. It doesn't work that way. What are you doing yourself? And I'm going to use the opportunity to remind us, even you watching this video, what are you doing? Are you waiting for one miracle to occur so that you can now have something to say? Are you waiting for people to contribute money and give you good governance and secure land like most of you are busy asking? What are you doing? What is going on in a land? Are you now in a nation? Are you now in a state? The question to you, can you be that a nation without funds supporting it to make it to happen? What have you done for that nation that you are questioning people about come to fruition, come to reality? What are you doing? Have you done your part? Are you willing to do your part? Apart from threatening people, reminding people that, oh, the hand will touch you and all that, what are you doing? Even if you are supporting Nigeria, what are you doing to make it work? Are you willing? How many protests have you come out to organize or to even participate on? Nothing. What are you exactly doing? Even in your own state, observers, you just wait and fold hand and criticize and talk about other people and go enter the house and sleep. It doesn't work that way. That is not how other people from other part of the world do. Think about it and let us know what you think about what you think about it. Please make sure you let us know your conclusion on comment section by putting your comment. Tell us what you think about all we've discussed so far, what Christopher Okenwa said and the comment from this guy and all I have said here. Let me know your take on it. Please, I want to remind you that Sunday we are coming out for our prayer, and please join us as we organize our first prayer for the year. Very, very important that you join us as we decree and declare. Very, very important. And make sure you subscribe to this channel if you don't mind. Take care of yourself, and bye-bye for now. Take care.